So this is going to be a Costco sale item review of this Swift all-natural pork shoulder butt, alright, boneless. It was $8 off, so no matter what package you get, it's $8 off, so it's always better to get the smaller package. Anyways, this was packed on October 26, 2025, which is when I bought it, and it says to sell by November 2nd, 2025. So you can see it's $3 a pound, so basically you get a little over 2 pounds free. Okay, so here you go. Boneless pork shoulder vacuum package. Alright, and I'm actually reviewing this a little bit late past the sell by date, so hopefully it's still okay. I mean, it looks fine. So yeah, alright, anyways, let's go ahead and see. Is there any other information here? Obviously you want to keep it refrigerated, and hopefully you were able to see all the other safe handling and all of that. This was 14.8 pounds, and again, or 14.08 pounds, and again, this was the lightest package. So yeah, if you can't use it right away, you could always freeze it. Nutrition facts, alright. Okay, 4-ounce serving, 112 grams, 210 calories, 14 grams of fat, 18%, 5 grams saturated fat, 25%, 70 milligrams of cholesterol, 23%, 70 milligrams of sodium, 3%, and then you got 20 grams of protein. There's 1 microgram of vitamin D, 6%, 18 milligrams of calcium, 2%, 1 milligram of iron, 6%, and 356 milligrams of potassium, 8%. Okay, they have cooking instructions here. You can cook it however you want, but they have their own cooking instructions. I'm just going to cut to small pieces and then just cook it in a pan. So we'll see. Alright. Preheat oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Remove roast from package and season as desired. In an oven-proof skillet over medium-high heat, add 2 tablespoons of oil and heat until it begins to smoke slightly. Place roast in hot pan and brown on all sides. Remove from stove top and add 1 to 2 cups of water or broth to pan. Place roast fat side up in pan, cover with foil, place in oven and cook for approximately 30 minutes per pound or until internal temperature reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, for shredded pork, cook roast for an additional hour to an internal temperature of 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Shred with 2 forks and serve. Slow cooker, okay, remove from package, season as desired. Place roast in slow cooker, add 2 cups water or broth, place lid on slow cooker, set heat to high. Cook on high for up to 6 hours or until internal temperature reaches 200 degrees Fahrenheit. If roast is fork tender prior to 6 hour, reduce heat setting to low, and then remove roast and slice or shred as desired. Grill or smoker, preheat one side of grill to high, remove roast from package and season as desired. Place roast on hot side of grill, alright, side with heat on. Okay, and cook until desired color or grill marks are obtained on all sides. Move roast to cool side of the grill and continue to cook roast while maintaining a grill temperature of approximately 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Halfway through cooking, the roast can be wrapped in foil to help maintain juiciness. Cook to a minimum internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. For shredded pork, cook wrapped in foil to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, I'm just going to cook this my own way. You don't have to cook it the way they say. So let me do that, and yeah, let me cut this open. Alright, so I got a bowl here so I can kind of drain off the liquid that's in there, as you can see. Alright, I'm going to turn this sideways. We're just going to cut this open. And I also have a cutting board so I can obviously slice it into smaller pieces because this is too ginormous. It's a lot of meat, so I don't want to cook this whole thing and then we're going to be having to eat all this meat right away. I'd rather cook some of it and then basically we will freeze the rest. Okay, so here's the bowl. I'm going to pour this into here. Right, it's a really big chunk of meat, so I can slowly pull this up and hopefully the juices will stay in the bowl area. Uh-oh. Well, I have a bag on top just in case. So if it leaks out, we'll be okay. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we got the meat out. I'm going to now get the cutting board and put that on top. Okay. So we'll move this guy aside. Oh shoot, there's a lot of liquid coming out. Oh, it comes out in 2 pieces. Okay, so there's actually 2 chunks here. maybe more. So let me actually move this aside. I'm gonna have to get something to dry this stuff up. Give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, so I set one of the chunks aside. Now we have this big thing here, right? So this is kind of going off to the side. Let's see, is there a proper way to cut it for the grain? Maybe not, because I think the grains are actually running along that, but also down this way. So I think normally if you wanted to cut against the grain, you would cut like that way. But anyways, I'm just going to cut a big chunk off. You can actually see the lines in here. So we're going to cut this way. Okay. And I'm just going to cut a big chunk off. Alright, and I'm going to fry this in a pan. So here you can see how it looks inside. Okay. Just like that. And again, there's a fattier side that they mentioned. Okay, so this is what that looks like that I cut a piece off of. And I'm going to go ahead and cook this in a pan. So let me go get the pan ready and we'll cook it up. I'm going to just use salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I got this salt shaker. We're just going to grind some on there. Okay, get some pepper on there. Alright, and then some granulated garlic. Alright, let's flip this thing over. Do the other side. Salt. Alright, pepper. And some granulated garlic. Alright, and let's go move to the pan. Alright, we're at the pan now. Let's drop this in. Probably going to have to cook this at a lower temperature so that it can cook all the way through, because it is quite a bit thick. But yeah, we'll cook it up, flip it over, cook it some more, and I'll let you guys see what it looks like when it's done. Alright. It's been on there a few seconds. I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to see if I have a lid to put on this to keep some of the steam. There you go. Okay, so we're going to put a lid on this, because we want to keep the steam in. Alright, hopefully this fits. Nope. Okay, hopefully I guess we have to use the giant one. Alright, and we'll see you guys when it's more cooked. Alright, and here it is. It looks good. I flipped it a few times. We're going to get it on a plate, cut it open, and give it a try. Alright, let's cut this open, and hopefully it cooked through. It's a little bit pink, so let's go ahead and cook a little more just in case. Alright, maybe I shouldn't have cooked it more, because now it feels a lot less tender, and you can actually see it still has the pinkish to it, so maybe that's just the color. Alright, so let's give this a try. Not bad. Alright, so I cut it all up into little cubes, and this one into just like flat pieces, and that's all the pork we got. Alright, and now I'm going to do my take on the Vietnamese dish Thit. Alright, so anyways, we just got the pork cut up into little cubes. Pretty simple. I do it at a very simple thing. We just get a bunch of fish sauce, put that in there. Okay, good amount. We're going to use some dark soy sauce to give it a darker color. Okay, there's no actual measurements, and I think that was actually too much. I didn't mean to pour it that quickly. Alright, we're going to get some salt. Although fish sauce is already salty, so we don't need too much salt. Okay. And we'll do some black pepper. Alright, and we'll do a little sugar. And that's pretty much it. If you want, you can put like green onions and stuff. Alright, this is just whatever. I just do whatever in there. We'll stir it up, and then if it tastes like it needs anything else, then I will add that. This will be covered. Also, I'm going to be adding hard-boiled eggs to this. So I already boiled the eggs. I'm going to have to peel them, and then once this is kind of cooking, usually what I do is I actually take the meat out once it kind of is finished cooking and has all the sauce, and I'll boil the eggs in the liquid. I mean, everyone cooks it differently. That's just the way I do it. So, yeah. Alright, so we're just going to stir this all up. Okay, you can see the dark soy sauce gave it that nice dark color. Alright. And we're going to cover this so that the moisture can stay inside. It looks like there's not that much liquid in there, but don't worry, because a lot of water is going to come out from the meat. So, yeah. We're going to lower the temperature a bit so it doesn't just burn up at the bottom. And then every so often we will take the lid off and stir it up a little more. So there we go. We'll cover this now. Alright, and we'll let it cook for a bit. Alright, you can see it's already bubbling and lots of liquid has come out. We're going to stir it up. Okay. Also, this cut of meat is pretty good for doing this. Normally you would use, I think it's pork belly, I don't know, but they usually will have like the skin on it with the fat. To me, as long as it has the meat and then like a layer of the fat and skin, then that's what I would use. But anyways, I just use this. It has like a nice bit of fat to it, so yeah. And you can see the meat's kind of plumping up. And yeah, we'll let it keep going. Alright, and here it is. So, we basically stirred it up a bit. You can see all the liquid in there. And we can go ahead and give some a try. Alright, so I'm going to have to let this cool down, but I need to separate the meat out. We already got the eggs ready, so I'm actually going to dump these in, and then I'll just scoop the meat out around it. Okay, so here's one of it. Has a nice chewiness to it. And yeah, now we're basically just gonna what do you call, cook off the water from the sauce so it becomes more concentrated, and then the eggs will turn like a nice dark brown, like tea eggs. Alright, I'm gonna scoop out all the meat and I'll be back. Alright, and here we go. We have the eggs all in there, and we're just gonna let it cook off a little bit so that it can dilute. But we'll also cover it to let it slowly steam off. Alright, that's it. And then we will show you. But you already saw the meat, so yeah, it's good. Alright, and this is what the eggs look like now, and you can see how much less liquid there is at the bottom. Alright, and here you go, my Happy Meal. Got that. Good, and the egg. That's some good stuff. Alright, see you guys later.